Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, good morning. It is the Jaguar Journal. Rocking and rolling this morning. Good morning to everyone. Happy New Year once again. I am Perry White, my man Mike back there on the board. Getting it rocking and rolling this morning. Gonna try to do some things different with the visuals this year. If you're watching via YouTube or Facebook or whatever, a lot to talk about this morning. Southern University men and women getting in basketball, getting the victory last week. We're going to break that down and get deeper into that around the 8 o'clock hour. My man Scotty, a.k.a. Allscript, going to join the show this morning. We can go around the SWAC and talk about some news. Texas Southern hiring their new head coach in football. Alabama State getting a big-time transfer at quarterback. Florida A&M celebrating their championship of Celebration Bowl, but hey, I don't know where the fans were at. Of course, Willie Simmons moves on. They lose their biggest recruiter, who has left the program to go to Colorado. You look over at Connell Maynor at Alabama A&M, hiring a defensive coordinator from South Carolina State. And I think at the end of the day, we all look at this and we got to double back and circle Fred McNair. Moves on from Alcorn, Cedric Thomas, then takes over, who was the defensive coordinator, now the head coach. Got to take a look up at Grambling, of course. Former Southern University head football coach Eric Dooley and former interim Southern University head football coach Jason Rollins. Both the top guys now under Mickey Joseph. Eric Dooley, of course, serving as the offensive coordinator. Jason Rollins serving as the defensive coordinator. Some interesting stuff. We got to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. But we also going to talk about how the Jaguars have been playing, the great job that they've been doing on and off the court. I've had an opportunity to go talk to some of those players, especially on the men's side, and get to know those guys a little bit better. And also play some of the interviews I've had with them so you guys can get to know them a little bit better as well. I think Coach Kevin Johnson at this point is doing a phenomenal job. Getting that victory against Texas Southern, considering the hype of who Texas Southern is in this conference, they are the 3-time defending SWAC basketball tournament champions. So there's a lot to talk about this morning. First of all, I know, make sure you guys stay warm. If you have your pets outside, I know a lot of you guys, around, not just here in Baton Rouge, but everywhere. People have pets. And if they outside, I'm sure you're not under a rock. You've seen the winter advisory warnings for most of the country. I talked to my grandmother. She's up in Chicago. Talked to her Thursday. She said, Perry, I'm hunkering down. It's supposed to be like -7. And we have a blizzard advisory. Now, I know in Louisiana, y'all don't know nothing about a blizzard, right? You don't even understand what -7 feel like down here in Louisiana. Let me tell you, you don't want to deal with it, especially with the wind. You don't want any parts of your body uncovered. The NFL is rocking and rolling today. Have you seen what it's supposed to feel like in Kansas City today? -31 with snow. So although we down here this far down the south, I think as of Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm no meteorologist, but I definitely watch enough for the news. It's supposed to get down into the teens. So that's why I say if you have any outside pets, animals, the kids have to go out, whatever, make sure you dress everybody warm. Okay? Make sure everybody is dressed warm simply for the fact because it's cold. And when it get cold in Louisiana, in South Louisiana, particularly where we at, you better believe how cold it is elsewhere. Arkansas, my neck of the woods, they looking at least 7 inches of snow. Some parts of Louisiana, the governor, Jeff Landry, is just yesterday declared a state of emergency ahead of the possible winter storm. Some places in Louisiana look like they're going to get sleet and ice, and that's typically the worst. You want snow before you get sleet and ice. So it's just an advisory. Wake up if you didn't know. It's bright and early on this Saturday morning. I'm Perry White, getting you guys prepped and ready for the week. Monday night, it seems to be when this thing is going to take the turn for wherever it's going to go. Last I looked, it was about a 60% chance. I think we're going to probably get rain here, but when you start to get down to those teens, you're talking about below freezing. You start to talk about patches of ice out there on the road. And it's already tough enough just to drive around here in water, let alone patches of ice. So just give you guys a heads up. Start the prep now. I don't think it's going to be what we're going to see further north of us, but still nonetheless, we have a lot of bridges in this area. A lot of bridges in South Louisiana. And that's typically the places where when the temperature does drop and you have precipitation, ice tends to accumulate because you don't have the warmth of the ground on that bridge. That's underneath it. You don't have the warmth of the ground. So just get you guys prepped and ready. Get ready. Get ready. Southern University men and women's basketball team on the road this weekend, going over to Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. And I know a lot of people are going to ask, Perry, have you heard what's going on with the Southern University coaching staff? Do you know what coaches are in place? Do you know who's going to be the coordinators? I'm here to tell you I have not. I've reached out. I've done my part. I know they've been hosting recruits, bringing recruits in. You had some guys signed last week, some DBs. One of them, former Southern University athletic director's son, Greg LaFleur. Kid from Miles College as well. So we'll get into that. But in terms of the coaching staff, I still have nothing for you because I'm sure you don't even know. I don't know what's the hold up, but look, whenever we get it, we'll get it. And whenever I get it, I'll make sure I give it to you. Hey, I could get something right now this morning while we're doing the show. But I have reached out. I have, made the attempt to see what is going on, what are things going to look like. Have not gotten any word back yet. And I'll be interested to see as well. You know how things go. You have to wait for approval. The idea for salaries being, as you can recall that last board meeting, checks and balances. I hope you guys had a great week. National championship game was played. Washington, Michigan. How about Michigan winning their first national championship since 97? Michael Penix Jr. did what he could for Washington, but Michigan's run game just seemed to be too much in that ball game. Michigan runs away and gets that national championship for Jim Harbaugh. It took a long time, didn't it? He went 0-6 versus Ohio State with only one Big 12 championship along the way, and people was ready to fire him. Since then, he's dominated Ohio State. He's dominated the Big 12. He's been to the college football playoffs, and now check off a national championship. On the other side, the guy that he beat in the semifinal, how about Nick Saban calling it quits? The football world was shaking up this week when Alabama head football coach Nick Saban decided to say he's going to call it quits and retire. Due to his age and the change in landscape of college football as we know it today with the transfer portal, NIL, and so many other reasons that an older guy who, you like to call it the old school way. I refer to it as it's like trying to get your grandmother to use the air fryer when she still likes to put the grease in the pot, warm it up, and drop it in there the old school way. And you like, Grandma, The air fryer is so much more efficient and quicker. She's like, I don't care about efficient and quicker. I want to do it my way. How I do it, how I like to do it. So, Mike, let's get ready to take a break. We come back on the other side. We'll have my man Scotty, a.k.a. Off Script. We'll start talking about going around the SWAC. So you guys wake up, go get you some coffee, and we'll be right back. More to Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable Roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At CareSouth, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I hope you guys are staying warm. Wake up, get you some coffee, and get your day going. 7:20 a.m. here on Central Standard Time, but over there on the East Coast, we know it's 8:20, and I got to give my guy a call over there on the East Coast this morning. Want to welcome to the Jaguar Journal, my man, Scotty, a.k.a. Allscript. Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning, Pete. What's going on with you?
Man, you up? It's bright and early. You getting it going?
It's a little too early for me. I would only do this for you, bro. I do this for you.
I appreciate it, man. You a coffee drinker?
Nah. You know I'm too hype. Listen, man, I got a natural energy, man. I got a natural high. I don't need coffee.
I heard that, man. Look, let's jump right into it, man. You know, a lot of information out there over this past week in terms of the SWAC to go over. Where you want to start at?
First, let's start in the SWAC. But let me say this. You know, Perry, I didn't know that since the bridges don't have the ground, that's why they get icy, bro. You taught me something new, bro. I was like, oh, that's why they say bridges may ice over. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I never knew that.
Yeah, you typically have the warmth of the ground of whatever warmth that is, and that's typically where you have ground level surface that are maintained without ice before you have the bridge. The bridge, because you'll have that cooler air running right underneath the bridge and on top of the bridge, so it'll ice over quicker.
Bro, I never knew that, bro. Until you said that, I was like, that's why they got those signs. Learn
you something today.
I didn't know.
And there's plenty of bridges here in Louisiana, so that's why I told people, make sure that you are cautious with that, because a lot of commuting here in South Louisiana has to deal with crossing bridges, man, and it can be a dangerous thing with that ice when you're going over a bridge, man. Yeah,
man, that was something new. But, starting in the SWAC, let's start with your Southern Jacks, right? So word on the street, you know how I get down, is that Mark Fredericks from PV might be your new OC.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been hearing. I don't think it's a bad move if that does happen. My thing is, your guy's already behind the 8 ball because some people don't think he should have got the job. And then you don't see much of what Southern is doing to take their team to another level, with recruiting guys. So I don't know what you're supposed to expect from Terrence Graves this year in Southern, to be honest.
That's a good question, man. You look around. I've been waiting to see, some people have thought about maybe the possibility of Coach Totten being presented that opportunity. I've heard also options of outside people. And this is the thing when it comes to this level, it makes it tough because people want to know this type of information. And people will, I wouldn't necessarily, let me say, they will badger you, Scotty, for this type of information, especially at Southern, right? Here at Southern, people love football. Football is God more than any other thing on that campus when you talk about sports. People will say, hey, I love this and I love that. But when it comes to football, and you've seen this even with you and your show, people would rather talk about football 24/7 year-round before they even give any other sport an opportunity.
No, that's fact. That's big facts. But
and with that's why I believe around the SWAC, we have to realize the importance when it comes around the football programs that we have to be able to put information out there.
Yeah, and I think that's what limits the SWAC to being another level or being on that group of 5 level is just the lack of information that's disseminated. Most of the stuff that I get is from the grapevine, alum, a player, a former player who knows somebody, and the other person knows somebody, and it's always word of mouth. It's never an insider that says, hey, Scotty, get this out, or this is what's going on with the program. So it's either, do we need more insiders in the SWAC, or does the SWAC need to allow insiders? Like at Alabama and Auburn, it might be 5 inside writers, maybe 10. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing that the fan base can't get because an insider might know. And that's what keeps those programs and radio stations afloat, is because of all the information that constantly comes out.
And when you say that, I mean, you and I had texts, and you text me before ESPN sent me the notification saying Nick Saban was retiring. I said, how the hell you know that? I'm looking like, I haven't seen the notification. You know, that's because you have those people around. And I do my best to be the insider. I do my best, and lo and behold, I text. Trust me, people get sick of me. Coaches, I text, I call, I invite on the show, and I also ask questions. Now, there's a lot of information the same way that you know, with your show that I don't share with the public, right? If they say, hey, don't share this, or I'm not ready for this to be out there, I say, okay, out of the respect of the relationship that I have, I'm not going to burn a bridge just to try to put something out right now when I know down the road it can come back and the relationship could be even better. But it's just, I will just keep it real. It's hard when you're looking for information like this. And for Southern, this is one of the biggest storylines coming into the season because you move on from Eric Dooley. You keep Terrence Graves, who was already on the staff, and now Terrence Graves is the head guy. And it's been, we might be going on almost close to a month now of him being the head guy, and the staff is not still put together. You know, and then you look up north at Grambling. Grambling staff, quick, fast, and hurry is put together. I know Eric Dooley and Jason Rollins are the coordinators, and then going from there from their head coach. But people want to know here at Southern, what is going on? What is going to happen? Is Coach Miller still going to be around on the defense? What's happening on the offensive side of the ball, and how all of this is going to look?
No, and they should have every right to, because then you have a group of fans who didn't want Terrence Graves. So they're like, this is why I ain't want Terrence Graves. So to me, I think he's building the case against himself, and the only way you get out of that is winning football games.
You got to win those football games, and that's what's going to be key. And I think for Southern, the best part to look at is going to come from the offensive side of the ball. You got Noah Biden coming back, and you have a host of talent. You like the Scotlandville kid, don't you?
I love him. I think he has SWAC Player of the Year written all over him, and the fact that kid never touched the field last year was criminal, absolutely criminal. Because and don't get me wrong, I think Noah Biden's a guy, but if you're trying to find a guy, go find your guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, play people. That's what they're not on the team for no reason. I can't stand when I used to see basketball coaches go 6 deep. You got 10 people on varsity, but you only play 6 kids. Like, you telling me they can't do nothing right? Then why they on varsity? So that's just I just think that, especially the way the season was going offensively, I think he could have gave you a spark, because to me he's a perfect blend of what Dooley was looking for with mobility and his arm. And he's a lefty, and everybody knows lefties just give you that weird, funky look because of how they drop back. So,
you know, Scotty, I think these day and age, especially as a head coach, it makes him leery of putting guys out there, because you know what that guy's doing? He's getting film for himself. And as he gets film, he then could possibly put himself in the transfer portal.
In the portal.
So now that he has nothing to build off of, because he has no film coming out of college. He'll still be, some practice film in high school. And for me, that was the conspiracy that I thought about when it came to playing the other quarterbacks. Was it simply down to, especially those younger guys, was it simply down to not allowing them to get film of game experience? And I got to ask you this before we take a break, then we'll come back and keep going. Your thoughts on Harold Blood? Initially leaves Southern and transfer out, says he's going to Mississippi Valley, and now we've seen he's at Missouri.
Listen. He's probably a clipboard holder at Missouri, which it is what it is. But the thing for me is, I don't think he's as bad as people at Southern made him look. I really don't. I think he's about. I do think he's a Valley type quarterback, or a Bethune-Cookman, or even PV. I think PV would have benefited from having him, right? Like, he can throw it with the best of them. He has a really, really great deep ball. I just think that Dooley did a lot of stuff that didn't fit his skill set. And what I mean by that, anybody who's a Southern Jaguar fan, think about Musa running Eric Dooley's offense, and would that have worked? You would have been like, heck no. Musa runs like a snail going up the road. Like, is he slow? It's some things you just can't do with him, right? So you got to build it around that makes him look good. So that's what I think Eric Dooley was trying to do. He was trying to make a fish fly, and the boy needed to be in water. And I think if you just gave him a drop back, easy read, quick game type of offense, take your shot, I think he looks a lot better.
But we'll see how he turns out up at Missouri. Hey, Missouri is turning into a a pretty good reputable football team in the SEC, ranked in the top 10, and getting a victory over Ohio State this past year in the bowl game. All right, let's get ready to take a break. If you hear my voice, I'm Perry White. That's my man Scotty, a.k.a. Off Script, joining me today. Let's take a break. We come back, then we'll go around the rest of the SWAC. We talked about Southern, then we'll branch out and get you news everywhere else. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. It is the Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney, installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we're back. Good morning to everybody. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White, my man Scotty, a.k.a. Off Script, joining me this morning, talking about these things around the SWAC. 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about some SWAC basketball. Go around, of course, Southern University 2-0 in men and women getting big victories over Texas Southern and Prairie View this past week. So I'll go there with you guys and break that down in depth a little bit better, because I know you guys want to know about your Jaguars, who are on the road this weekend for the Florida trip. They're going to miss all this wintry stuff and probably come back right when it's happening. But they're over at Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman this weekend. Scotty, good morning.
What's good, Big?
We on this radio tip. You know, Scotty and I, we have a show on, well, it was on Mondays now, Tuesday, Outspoken. So you can go follow Scotty on his YouTube channel, Off Script. Very insightful information, and it depends how you it depends how you like your information. You know, sometimes you like your information politically correct, and sometimes you like your information straightforward, no chaser, unfiltered. Typically how I like to have mine. But because these radio waves, Scotty, we got to play at a different game today compared to what we normally do.
I understand. I completely understand. I can put my white man voice on for you.
All right, thank you, Scotty. Scotty, you know, we look around the SWAC. Let's first talk about your boy Andrew Body. Now, you one person that is very high on Andrew Body coming from.
Whoa, Barry, you didn't say it right.
Excuse
Barry.
me, you do it.
Andrew Body.
And see, everybody don't have that gift to yell like that, especially at 7:35 a.m. My voice still got a little out to it.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, Andrew Body, former Texas Southern quarterback. He was an all-SWAC quarterback, second team all-SWAC. Dealt with injuries last year, pretty much set out the rest of the season, and now has transferred to Alabama State under Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. I always have to put that disclaimer, no relation to Eddie Robinson at Grambling, because there's always somebody out there who thinks that's his son. That is not. But Eddie Robinson Jr. at Alabama State, a team that really surprised me last year over in the SWAC East. And you have to think now with Willie Simmons out the way at Florida A&M. I'm not going to completely say, well, that's it for Florida A&M. But the fact that Alabama State was literally scratching on their heels last year out of the SWAC East, went on the road and got a victory at homecoming in Jackson, Mississippi against Jackson State, and they pretty much beat everybody else over in the SWAC East except FAMU. What's your thoughts now with the addition of Andrew Body at the quarterback position at Alabama State and what they could do moving forward, especially with that great defense that they have behind them?
Listen, I'll tell you straight up, I think they're contenders off the rip, and I think they should be looked at as either the number 1 or number 2 team in the SWAC East. My issue is always going to be I don't believe that Eddie Roberts going to use Andrew Body the right way. I think he's going to be, I've heard from multiple sources that left the program. The reason they left is because he told them he was going to be a more run-dominant offense. And he's okay with winning games 18-14 and 14-12. He's okay with that. So my expectations for Andrew and the expectations for Eddie Robb are two different things, and I think he's going to limit what you can truly see from Andrew Body. So do I think he makes him a contender? Yes. Do I like the way that it's going to look? Probably not.
What do you like about Andrew Body's game for you personally?
I like kids that are gamers, right? So it's like when things get tough and when things get rocky, you can depend on your guy to go make you a play, right? Like it's not the situation where you get a Musa to where it's really drawing it up and you just throw it to somebody who's wide open with him and Jesus gardening, right? It's a situation where you're not supposed to win this game and you go out and get it. Or you're not supposed to be in this game and you go out and compete. So, to me, that's what I love about Andrew Body. And the thing about it is he can beat you in both ways. He can beat you with his arm, and he can beat you with his leg. So,
we know here in Southern. We saw it.
yeah, right? 2-0. 2-0. So, but, yeah, that's what makes Andrew Body. And he's a leader.
Yeah.
He's a leader. Kids follow him. You know, people love him. I mean, it's not too many people I've ever heard say bad things about Andrew. But you know, he's just a guy, and you need sometimes. And you know how it is. Like you need those guys. You need the Ladarius Skeltons. You need, you know, and you always talk about Ladarius when it comes to like when the games got hot and the lights got bright. You knew Ladarius was going to show up.
Yeah,
and that's what Andrew is.
Let's move on over to Texas Southern. They've now named that head guy Chris Dishman. What's your thoughts on this, man? It seemed like a long, drawn-out process, and then initially we thought Fred McNair had this job, and the board kept going back saying no, and then finally this is who they get.
Listen, my thing is if you get who you get, that's fine. You know, coaching is a coin toss, so he might be good, he might not be good. My thing is Fred McNair deserves what he got. I don't want to hear nobody talking about I feel bad for McNair. No, you should not. Because y'all the same Bammers who was talking bad about Ed Reed because he didn't sign his contract and he got fired. And it's the same thing for McNair. He left Alcorn in the dust, tried to slide over there to his mistress. His mistress got a new man, and now he out there looking dumb. So, no, nobody should feel sorry for Fred McNair.
This shouldn't feel sorry for Fred McNair. What do you know much about Coach Dishman? I see he comes to TSU after 13 successful years in the NFL and 19 years of coaching experience at the collegiate and professional levels. Have you had an opportunity to talk to anybody that know much about him?
You know what's funny, Pete? You know, you called me last night and I told you Coach Barlow called me. And he actually brought up Coach Dishman and he said, hey, he's a good dude. He said, smart guy. He's like, you know, he's a hard-nosed type of guy. He's a defensive guy. He said, so he's a really good coach. He said, Scott, he's a really good coach. He said, now I don't know if he's going to be successful with recruiting and things like that. He said, but just knowing the X's and O's, he said, they got a good guy. So that's what he told me.
Sound like a guy of integrity and character. Let's move over to Florida A&M. Well, before we go there, let's go over to Alabama A&M, the other A&M. Cornell Maynard, I don't know how he still has a job, but that's neither here nor there. He has a job, and he's now brought over a guy for the defensive side of the ball from South Carolina State.
Yeah, he brought over Coach Thomas Howard, and I'm not going to say it's a bad hire. I just graded it low because it's A&M, and they never really care about defense. And his defense at South Carolina State got better throughout the year, but I don't think that he's going to – it's all about the Jimmies and Joes, right? Like, you can draw it up. I've seen enough A&M games where they were in the right coverage and still beat. So it's really, can you get the players to A&M that make the plays? They can always find the offensive guys, but somehow they can't find no solid defensive backs that make plays.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. A&M ain't a defensive-minded team anyway, so it's pretty much, can we outscore you?
And the reason I brought that up because it's like, all right, Jackson State was in the way right after they won, after A&M won that spring season. Jackson State then became in the way. And it's like, all right, Cornell, man, you talked your talk. Get more 5 stars, right? Hadn't been the same since they left that scooter up in Huntsville. Then you get Willie Simmons and FAMU. All right, Willie Simmons and FAMU. Willie Simmons is out the way. So Dion and Willie Simmons out the way. You now have to look and say, all right, Cornell Maynard, now more than ever is your time when you look around the SWAC East. You can't let Eddie Robb and TC come in and steal your thunder when you was here before both of them.
Listen, if he loses another Magic, first of all, to lose the Magic City Classic for a first-year coach that has never coached football is absolutely downright disgusting. Okay? And then the fact that you lost to him twice, back-to-back, if you lose to him again, go ahead and pack your bags and ask him for a good realtor because you're going to be out of Huntsville.
He would know one, would he?
He sure would. He sure would. Hey, I got a homegirl that'll do you right, Maynard. Come on, man. That's to go.
And before we move over to FAMU, because we're going to get ready to take a break in a second, I got to ask you about a stop at Grambling when you look at Jason Rollins as the defensive coordinator and Eric Dooley as the offensive coordinator under Mickey Joseph.
That looks like Southern North, don't it?
You got Southern North and Southern South. And it's funny because when I was in junior high, the school I went to was called Jack Roby. It was such a big school, we had 2 sports. It was Roby North and Roby South, but we all went to school with each other. So that was hilarious to me.
No, it looked like Southern North to me. I mean, they just said, hey, whoever y'all don't want, we'll take. You know what I'm saying? Jason Rollins, y'all don't want him, we'll take him. Eric Dooley, y'all pay him to get rid of him, we'll take him. So, I mean, you got to know what you're getting. I've never heard anybody speak bad about Jason as a coach. You know what I'm saying? They kind of said he was set up to fail. Either way. But you know what you're getting with Eric Dooley.
Yeah.
But people say he's a better coordinator than a head coach. So we'll see how that works out. But I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to Mickey Joseph and how good of a recruiter he is. I mean, every coach that I've spoken to, they say he might not do a lot, but he knows talent. So you can expect Grambling to be a talented team. It's just, can Jason Rollins and Eric Dooley, get their Southern roles out the way and be a good match.
Yeah, and I think that's, even though he can recruit the talent, I think that's where the Eric Dooley and the Jason Rollins come in. Can they develop the talent once they get there? Can they get the best out of those athletes? And and I think for Jason Rollins, for Eric Dooley, you can almost pretty much assure he's going to have to go. He's not going to try to develop him a quarterback. He's going to pretty much assure he's going into the portal to find the best guy out there that he can recruit and get him to Grambling to try to be a plug-and-play guy ready to go.
Listen, I'm going to keep saying it. Eric Dooley is not a developer of anything. If you're telling me your system only works with a certain quarterback, you're not an offensive genius, okay? You're just an offensive guy. and hope that you can find the perfect fit. Hope you can find another Devontae Kincaid. Hope you can find another Ben, whatever his name was.
Ben Anderson.
Rest in peace. Yeah, Ben Anderson. Rest in peace. So you're just that guy. You just say, hey, if I get this one guy, I'm special. If I don't get this one guy, I'm not good. Like, that doesn't make you good at offensive play calling, in my personal opinion. To me, you should be like a Willie Simmons, to where you get 3 different versions of quarterback and you're successful with 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but man, Perry, y'all be taking a lot of breaks here on the radio. Boy.
Man, we got to pay bills, because I got to pause you right there and take one so we can come back and figure out, hey, radio different, man, because it's really bills. It's the business of radio. So let's pay these bills and come back, and we're going to talk about FAMU and what's going on over there. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney, installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable Roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White, my man Scotty, a.k.a. Off Script, joining me this morning. Scotty, I know you heard all those commercials, huh?
Man, boy, them things be rolling in, especially the ones on YouTube. The guy be like, you can reliable roofing. That just be fun. Every time I hear that commercial, that just be having me dying laughing.
So, yeah, we got commercials on the YouTube. We got commercials. We got to run them over the radio airways. So, shout out to everybody listening to Alexandria, Louisiana, right here in the Baton Rouge area, and as well as down in New Orleans, and everybody that's watching us on YouTube and Facebook, man. We appreciate you this morning. Make sure you go hit that subscribe button, become a subscriber today. I don't need your credit card, debit card, no information. I don't need to know your date of birth. I just need your support. Hit that button right there and become a subscriber for free today. All right, Scotty, before we get to the top of the hour, man, let's talk about Florida A&M. Of course, Willie Simmons has moved on to Duke as the running back coach. And let's just talk about the entire situation. And I'll let you break it down from Tiffany Sykes, who's the athletic director, and the vote of no confidence. And it's so much going on of who she recommended for the head coaching job and everything else.
Absolutely. And, I don't know if we got enough time before we take another break, but this is how
I'm going to do like you said on what the mama said on Friday. Make it enough.
So how it starts is, once I'll start it like this. Willie Simmons and his agent went to Tiffany about 3 times during the season to ask for a raise. She said no. Even after the Celebration Bowl, she didn't say no after the Celebration Bowl. She said she offered $75,000, and Willie felt that was disrespectful. So he decided to dip. She did a little funding, asking her alums and all that stuff. They raised all the money. So they're expecting her to pick somebody on staff. She never interviews anybody on staff, never talks to any coach on staff about the job or what she's going to do on said job. She reached out to Trey Oliver. Trey Oliver said no. Then Broadway, being her mentor, told her to go look at Sean Gibbs. Her and Sean Gibbs were together down in Grambling. She interviewed him. She likes what she interviews. So
Sean Gibbs being at Fort Valley State, correct?
Yes. Sean Gibbs at Fort Valley State, the former running back coach at North Carolina A&T. I watched Drumline last night. Anyway, so he gets offered the job. Well, the Board of Trustees leaked that he gets hired the job. So the fan base goes into an uproar. They're talking about, we're not going for it. We don't want Sean Gibbs. He started the fight here in 2019 when Willie was here, when he was at North Carolina A&T. How did you not know that? So it went bad really quickly. So now where we're at in the crossroad is, if she sticks with Gibbs, her job is going to be gone. Simple as that. You rocking with that guy? Because he ain't getting the job. Everybody know he ain't getting the job. Board of Trustees ain't approving it. Nobody going for it. But if you want to stand on that cliff, all right, both of y'all going to jump together. So that's pretty much how
Scotty, I think in the midst of all the confusion, they have now lost their recruiter.
Yes, so they lost Coach Reyes to Colorado. They did offer a pay raise to him. He hasn't got paid his bonus from the Celebration Bowl. And he told me, shut up. He said, Scotty, I consider myself one of the best, and I want to take the challenge of being the best. So that's why he went to Colorado.
When you look at that staff and they're saying hire from within, give me a name of someone that they would like to see from within.
So they were, the players wrote a letter to the AD saying they wanted either Cozy or Rowe or KJ Black. And if you don't know who KJ Black is, he's the offensive analyst at the LA Rams.
We know KJ Black around these parts. SWAC champion at Prairie View.
Absolutely. So they wanted one of those 3 guys. Assumingly you want to go get KJ Black, he's going to cost you too much. So they really wanted Rowe or Cozy.
And Coach Rowe comes out of the Miami area. He knows the talent. He coached in Miami. He had at one time the number 1, number 2 high school team in the nation. Went on the road, beat South Lake Carroll. So he is a guy in the realm of understanding talent, and especially in that Miami-rich tradition area when you're talking about just athletes. He understands what it's like to go see talent and be able to talk to that talent.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, in Florida, that talent is good and plentiful, but it's crazy. You know, them boys in Florida, they just different. So to have somebody on staff who understands that and understands how to communicate, knows how to recruit that area very well, he is a living legend. That role name means something down in Florida. You know, Samari role, Antro role, like those names mean stuff down there. So I think he would have been a great asset to FAMU, but I think Cozy is leading that pack for the head coaching position for people are leaning towards. So we'll see how it goes. For me personally, I thought the defensive coordinator should have became the head coach. His name is Smitty Rock. That's his, Ryan Smith, but they call him Smitty Rock. But, you know, he's a white man, so at FAMU. So don't expect that to happen.
And let me ask you this lastly before we get ready to cut this thing here. They had the ceremony to honor this team as a national champion, man. What was the deal with people not being there? I thought they bragged different at FAMU.
They do. But I listen, I don't care if Southern had won that Celebration Bowl. You're not planning an event at 10 in the morning. The school is not shut down or the classes. And what grown man who paying mortgages and bills is able to get off on a Friday at 10 a.m.?
I can assure you at Southern it would have been different. I can assure you. Plus, we would have probably did it on a Saturday or Friday. It would have been a parade.
Exactly.
We like the parade about everything in South Louisiana.
Exactly. You probably would have did it Saturday morning about 9 a.m. It would have been a parade, and then it would have ended at Southern, and then you at 10 or 11 o'clock. Then you had the official trophy ceremony and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that would have been a lot better. People off from work. You know what I'm saying? People can fly in, drive in. Ain't nobody about to fly in for 10 o'clock in the morning.
All right, Scotty, man, tell the people where they can find you, my guy.
Man, they can find me on YouTube, Offscript. You already know what it is. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Offscript_TV on both platforms, man. I appreciate you, Perry, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, man, as always, man. Thank you, Scotty. That's my man, Scotty, a.k.a. Offscript. All right. We got to get to the top of the hour, pay these bills. So when we come back, we'll talk some SWAC basketball, in particular Southern. Tell you how last week turned out with Texas Southern and Prairie View, and look ahead to this weekend's matchup against Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More to Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable Roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At CareSouth, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there. We can turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Good morning to everybody out there, man. I am Perry White. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. I want to thank my man Scotty, a.k.a. Allscript, giving us some news from around the SWAC, just to give you a heads up, starting here at home and working our way all the way around. And as we come back home and start back on the bluff, let's talk about some SWAC basketball in particular. Let's start on the women's side of Southern University women's basketball team, of course, getting a big victory last week over Texas Southern and Prairie View. Sandy Pugh, former Southern University head women's basketball coach, brought her team, now Prairie View, back into town to take on Southern. And, man, listen, if you haven't seen this team yet, they're coming to SWAC play after going on the road and beating Oklahoma. Southern University women get a victory over Texas Southern, 64-45. And let's just start here in this ball game. Southern University women's basketball shooting 27 of 74 in this game. Shooting 36% from the field, 3 of 14 from the three-point line, shooting 21% from the line, and 7 of 12 from the free throw line, shooting 58%. Now, Chris, I know somewhere you out there listening, I always recall when I talk about these free throw shooting percentages, I know somewhere out there you're listening, and I'm going to give it to you. All right, Texas Southern on the other side. Texas Southern women's basketball team shot 18 of 49 from the field, shooting 36%, 2 of 13 from the three-point line, shooting 15%. They were 7 of 9 from the free throw line for 77%. You look at this game, Southern out-rebound Texas Southern's women's basketball, 43 rebounds to 32 for Southern. Those 43 rebounds, Southern University women's basketball, 24 of them defensively, 19 offensively. On the other side for the women of Texas Southern, of those 32 rebounds, only 3 offensive rebounds, 29 defensive rebounds. Southern with 15 assists, 18 steals, 4 blocks, 16 turnovers forced in this ball game, 25 points off of turnovers. Let's put that out there again. 25 points off of turnovers, and I think this right here was what changed the game. Southern women's basketball able to get 46 points in the paint compared to Texas Southern women's 26 points in the paint. Southern's largest lead in this ball game, 21, of course. Ending this thing out, Texas Southern women's did lead at one time by 5 points. Then we talk about Monday, right? Southern University then welcomes in, I don't even know, should I say welcome? Sandy Pugh comes to town. How about that? Former Southern University women's basketball coach, won numerous championships here. And Southern dominates this game, 84-56 over Prairie View women's basketball team. Southern in this ball game shooting 29 of 63, 46% from the field, 5 of 12 from the three-point line, ladies and gentlemen, shooting 41%. How about this one? Chris, this one for you. 21 of 27 from the free throw line, shooting 77%. On the other side for Prairie View women's basketball, 17 of 48, shooting 35%. 1 of 14 from the three-point line. Man, you talking about a tough day jacking up threes, only shooting for 7%, 21 of 30 from the free throw line for Prairie View women's basketball, 70%. Southern University women once again out-rebound another team, and this one time it was Prairie View, 36 rebounds to 27 for Southern University women. Of those 36 rebounds, 13 offensive, 23 defensive for Prairie View, 27 rebounds total, 7 offensively, 20 defensively. Southern in this ball game, 19 assists, 14 steals, 4 blocks, 21 points off of turnovers, 14 points off of the fast break, dominating fashion once again in the paint. 44 points in the paint for Southern University women's basketball team compared to 26 points in the paint for Prairie View. Southern's largest lead in this game, 33 points. Prairie View only led by 4. Now, you're talking about dominating that game against Prairie View. Let's go back and look at what happened around the SWAC on the women's side. Jackson State's women, of course, Coach Tamika Reed. Jackson State had to put them in one of the teams to beat, and I told you early on coming into conference. Jackson, Southern, UAPB, and I'll tell you about them when we get to the standings. Jackson State women's basketball team getting a big victory over their rival, Alcorn State women's, 74-46. Move on over to 2 teams out of Florida. I guess it's the Florida Classic on the hardwood. Bethune-Cookman versus Florida A&M. Bethune-Cookman women able to get the victory 80-76 over Florida A&M women's basketball. Grambling, before Prairie View came to Baton Rouge, they took a trip up to Grambling, Louisiana. Grambling gets a huge victory, 82-54 on the women's side. Pine Bluff. I'm telling you, better watch out for those Golden Lions on the women's side. 75-67 victory over Alabama A&M, and then to end it all out, Alabama State, a 3-point victory, 57-54 over Mississippi Valley on the women's side. That was Saturday. We move over to Monday, of course, with two teams already. Jackson State, who got the victory over Alcorn State, and as well as Bethune-Cookman over Florida A&M. They did not play on Monday, so you had fewer games than you did on Saturday. On Monday, you look around outside of the Southern, 84-56 is the old folks say slacking of Prairie View. Pine Bluff once again picks up another victory, 85-52 over Alabama State on the women's side. Texas Southern then picks up their first victory, and what I think is an upset. I thought Grambling had an opportunity to win this, but Texas Southern on the women's side gets a victory on the road at Grambling, 72-67, and then Alabama A&M then swap places, go over to it'll be the Mississippi and get the victory 83-67 on the women's side against Mississippi Valley. All right, let's look at the standings of the SWAC women's basketball, and we'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top of the teams. I'm telling you right now, when each one of those teams match up, it's going to be much watch. Mississippi Valley at the bottom, 0-2 in conference play, 1-14 overall on the season. Alcorn State, 0-2 in conference play, 2-11 overall on the season. Prairie View and Sandy Pugh, 0-2 in conference play, 4-18 overall on the season. Florida A&M, the Rattlers on the women's side, 0-1, 1-11 overall on the season. Alabama State, 1-2 in conference play, 1-13 overall on the season. My God. Grambling, 1-1, 7-6 overall on the season. Texas Southern, 1-1 now in conference play. They are 2-11 on the season, and trust me, guys, things start to get a little bit better. Alabama A&M on the women's side, 2-1, 7-8 overall on the season. Bethune-Cookman, they are 1-0 in conference play, 10-4 overall on the season. And then here go the big three right now that I think are going to compete for the SWAC women's basketball tournament championship as well as women's regular season championship. All three of these teams, I cannot watch to wait them play. Southern, UAPB, and Jackson State all in first place, all 2-0. Southern University women, 2-0, 4-9 overall on the season. UAPB, 2-0 in conference play, 7-8 overall on the season. And Jackson State, 2-0, 7-6 overall on the season. Listen, believe me when I tell you what it's going to look like. Alabama A&M getting a victory Thursday night on the women's side, 67-58 over Alcorn, and then Jackson State continue to do what they do, 75-49 over Alabama State. Alabama A&M beat Alcorn State. Jackson State beat Alabama State on Thursday night, one of those rare Thursday night occasions. And then today's lineup for you to watch SWAC women's basketball. Southern University on the road on the women's side, taking on Florida A&M. Tip-off at 1 o'clock today over in Tallahassee, Florida. So any of our Jaguar loyal fans and supporters and bleeders of the gold and blue, if you're in that area, be sure to get over to Tallahassee today to support those Jaguars as Southern University women take on Florida A&M at 1 o'clock. Grambling on the road to Bethune-Cookman today. Jackson State women taking on Alabama A&M today at 2 o'clock. Alcorn State, Alabama State today also tip off at 2 o'clock. Mississippi Valley on the road, long road trip down there to Prairie View to take on Sandy Pugh. That tip off is at 3 o'clock. And then Pine Bluff and Texas Southern. Pine Bluff going down to Houston to take on Texas Southern and women's basketball today. That tip off is at 3 o'clock. On Monday, have some big matchups, Pine Bluff and Prairie View. Pine Bluff will be going over to Prairie View. That tip-off will be at 3 o'clock on Monday. Alabama A&M and Alabama State. The Magic City Classic on the hardwood. 4 o'clock Monday. Alabama A&M having to go down to Montgomery, Alabama. Grambling versus Florida A&M. Grambling on the road taking on Florida A&M at 4:30 tip-off on Monday. Then Mississippi Valley over at Texas Southern, 5:30 tip-off. And then what rounded out, Southern University, your Southern University women's basketball team will be on the road against Bethune-Cookman. That should be a great matchup. Bethune-Cookman 10-4 on the season. I like this matchup, actually. And to see Southern and Bethune, that should be a great matchup for Southern women's basketball on the road. Tip-off Monday at 5:30. That wraps up your SWAC women's basketball. Hope you guys were entertained. Now we're going to get ready to take a break, come back, talk about the men's side and what things look like. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back more to Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At CareSouth, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there, man. Thank you for rocking and rolling with me this morning. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. If you listen on the radio, just go click on the app on your phone, the YouTube, and go become a subscriber. And if you're watching on Facebook or if you listen on the radio, go to our Facebook page, the Jaguar Journal, and be able to follow us on there. Keep up with us. It's good to have you guys supporting. That's all we ask. It don't cost anything to support, man, whether you like Southern or you don't. I try to give you the news of everybody, bring it all together and make it work. But most importantly, it is a Southern University show. You better believe as I like to call my old heads, let me know as they continues to try to check me and let me know, period, what you're not doing because what you need to do. So I do my best in order to try to make sure everybody is happy with this show. All right. Talked about women's basketball. Let's talk about men's basketball. Southern University men's basketball team headed in the right direction. I like where they're going under Coach Kevin Johnson in his first year. And let's talk about Southern welcoming in Texas Southern. Texas Southern comes into town, the 3-time defending SWAC basketball men's side tournament champions, right? Pretty tough teams, 3 straight NCAA appearances, and they came into Baton Rouge, and Southern did not make it easy for them as the Jaguars were able to get a victory 58-51 over Texas Southern. On the men's side, the Jaguars shot 18 of 53 for 34%, 2 of 13 from the three-point line, shooting 15%, 20 of 30 from the free throw line, shooting 66%. On the other side for the Tigers of Texas Southern, 18 of 70 for 25%, 5 of 19 from the three-point line, shooting 17%, and 10 of 17 from the free throw line, shooting 58%. Southern was out-rebounded by 1 rebound in this game, 41 rebounds to 40, as Texas Southern was able to get 16 rebounds offensively, 25 defensively. For Southern on the other side, 11 offensive rebounds, 29 defensive rebounds. Southern with 11 assists, 9 steals, 6 blocks in this ball game. 13 points off of turnovers for Southern, 26 points in the paint to Texas Southern's 20 points in the paint. Southern's largest lead in this game was 13. Texas Southern's largest lead in this ball game was 10. The Jaguars getting a big victory at home to start conference play, strong against a team in Texas Southern that can definitely get you. All right, let's go over to Monday. Southern then takes on Prairie View Monday in their dominating fashion, win this one 79-58 over Prairie View Monday. Excuse me. Southern shooting in this game 28-58, 28 of 58 for 48%, 9 of 22 from the three-point line, shooting 40%, 14 of 20 from the free throw line, shooting 70%. On the other side for Prairie View, 20 of 53, shooting 37% around the field, 1 of 13 from the three-point line, shooting 7%, and 17 of 29 from the free throw line, shooting 58%. Southern University out-rebound Prairie View 38 rebounds to 31. Of those 38 rebounds for Southern, 9 offensive, 29 defensively. For Prairie View, 10 offensive rebounds, 21 defensive rebounds. Southern 16 steals, 7 assists, 5 blocks in this ball game, 20 points off the turnover, 14 fast break points, and 34 points in the paint for Southern. Their largest lead was 24. At no point did Prairie View lead in that ball game. Let's go back to Saturday. Let's look around the SWAC, right? Southern starts conference play at 2-0. Prairie View goes on the road to take on Grambling on Saturday. Grambling gets the victory 69-63. Jackson State and Alcorn State in a rivalry over there in Mississippi. Jackson State beats its rival 88-80 on the men's side. Bethune-Cookman gets the victory over Florida A&M 98-86. Alabama A&M squeaking out one against UAPB 63-62. And let me tell you something in that ball game about UAPB and that one. They had that one made for them. You know what, UAPB? They were up and shot 7 of 28 from the three-point line, shooting 25%. 7 of 28 in that ball game. And allowed Alabama A&M to come back and win that one. And then Alabama State getting the victory 54-51 against the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State on Monday. Let's go over to on Saturday. Let's go over to Monday. Texas Southern getting its first victory in conference play. Squeaked past Grambling 54-52. Alabama State beats UAPB by 11, 83-72. And then Alabama A&M getting a victory over Mississippi Valley State 78-70. Then we go over to Thursday. Jackson State beats Alabama State 73-63. And then Alcorn State gets a victory over Alabama A&M 74-71. Now let's look at the SWAC men's conference standing, starting from the bottom all the way up. And I'll start once again. Mississippi Valley struggling both men and women. Valley 0-2 in conference play, 0-15 on the season. Prairie View 0-2 in conference play, 5-10 on the season. UAPB 0-2 in conference play, 5-10 on the season. Florida A&M 0-1 in conference play, 2-10 on the season. Alcorn State 1-1 in conference play, 2-13 on the season. Our cousins up there at Grambling, Louisiana, they're 1-1 in conference play, 4-11 overall on the season. Texas Southern 1-1 in conference play, 3-10 overall on the season. Alabama A&M 2-1 in conference play, 3-13 overall on the season. Alabama State 2-1 in conference play, 7-9 overall on the season. Bethune-Cookman 1-0 in conference play, 6-8 overall on the season. And Jackson State 2-0, 6-9 on the season. And Southern University at the top of the pack, 2-0, 8-7 on the season. Southern is 6-0 at home. Southern's going to have a tough one. You're talking about playing Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman this weekend is one of Southern's opponent. They are 5-0 at home. So Southern would have to go over to Bethune-Cookman on Monday. Bethune-Cookman has not lost a game at home so far this season on the men's side. So Southern right now riding a 4-game win streak. Jackson State riding a 2-game win streak. And Bethune-Cookman getting their last win, of course, over Florida A&M. So on the men's side, that's how things are shaping out. It seems Southern and Jackson State are the teams right now. But, as things go on throughout the season, as SWAC play begins to go, you'll get jumbled up. You guys can definitely call in. Talk to me anytime. 225-499-1073 is the number. 225-499-1073 is the number if you want to call in. SWAC men's side of things are going to get interesting. Let's look at games that are going to be played today around the conference, right? Mississippi Valley on the road taking on Prairie View. Tip-off at 5:30 today. Southern University at Florida A&M. That tip-off is 3 to have Southern University at -5, a 6-point favorite in that ball game. Prairie View will be a 15-point favorite against Mississippi Valley State. You're talking about Grambling and Grambling and Bethune. Grambling on the road at Bethune. Bethune-Cookman is a 2-point favorite in that one. Tip-off at 3 o'clock. Alcorn State taking on Alabama State. Alcorn State on the road going to Montgomery. Alabama State a 4-point favorite in that one. UAPB versus Texas Southern over there in Houston, Texas. Texas Southern is a 9-point favorite in that one. Tip-off at 5 o'clock. And then Jackson State versus Alabama A&M. Jackson on the road to go to Huntsville. Jackson State a 6-point favorite for a 5 o'clock tip-off today. Go over to Monday. The Golden Lions of UAPB would then take on Prairie View at 5:30 tip-off. Alabama A&M and Alabama State. 6:30 tip-off. Southern and Bethune-Cookman, like I said, that should be one to watch. Bethune-Cookman undefeated at home. Southern and Bethune-Cookman tip-off at 6:30 on Monday. Grambling, Florida A&M. Florida A&M at home against Grambling, tip-off at 7 o'clock. And then the late game of the evening, Mississippi Valley State versus Texas Southern. It'll be a 6:30 tip-off over in Houston, Texas, as the Delta Devils try to pick up their first win on the season, 0-15. I've seen a lot of complaints of people, especially talking about trying to watch these games around the SWAC. One of the biggest issues is the paywalls. Everybody's saying the games are behind. Southern has one, and pretty much everybody else in the conference has one. And I must admit, I do like to watch these games. I like to try to at least put together highlights. But most of all, I like watching some of these games when the matchups are great. And especially on the women's side, I'm looking forward to the Southern, Jackson State, and Southern matchups once they get a chance to play each other. But, one of the biggest things, and I guess when it comes to the paywall, there's nothing wrong with it, but I would like to see an overall paywall of the conference as a whole, because when you start to pay each individual paywall, man, it starts to become expensive to look at all of these games for one game, right? It becomes expensive to try to watch and pay attention to these games. And so I understand what the frustration is. Southern has the Jaguar Sports Network. Everything is behind the paywall. Even the replay of the game is behind the paywall. I tried to go back and watch, you can watch the game in person, but because I sit here and do this with you guys, I like to go back and rewatch games and make sure I saw what I saw. Maybe could have been something I missed in the moment. Didn't get a chance. You don't get a chance to watch 100% of a game because things happen. But I wanted to go back and watch it, but hey, I didn't get a chance to go. And that's probably on me because I need to be a supporter to go out there and pay for the Jaguar Sports Network. My man Varek says Bama State has a $30 season pass where you can watch it all for Alabama State. And so that'll be big when Southern does play Alabama State. But I understand the frustrations that people have behind the paywall. If it was up to me, I would like to just put it on YouTube and let you have it and spend my time just making money off commercials. But I get we live in the age of controlling your own content. And if you want to control your own content, well, for a lot of people, you have to pay to get this content. So I totally understand where it's coming from and what it means. And if you're a supporter of Southern, you shouldn't have no problem with paying for it. If you're a supporter of any school, and it's the school that you want to support, you shouldn't have no problem with paying that paywall. Get in there, get that exclusive opportunity to watch those games and any other type of content and program that they do provide on there for you as a fan and everything else. 225-499-1073 is the number. 225-499-1073 is the number. We're going to get ready to take a break, and we'll come back. I'll have my last two segments of the show. Definitely call in if you want. Talk about some SWAC basketball. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. So, Mike, you ready to take this break? All right, guys, let's stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At CareSouth, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.
All right, we're back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there watching us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you have not done it so far, hit the subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We'd love to have your support. What we have there, Mike? Oh, nobody. Okay, I thought we had a caller. 225-499-1073 is the number. 225-499-1073 is the number. I'll be looking for information this week coming from Southern University to see what is the staff is going to look like on the football side. We're under 30 days from softball, and I believe the football schedule shall be released sometime this week. It's going to be interesting with the football schedule. I think you guys will like it. You should like it. And trying to see how to choice my words here, because I don't want to be the one to just, let the cat out the bag, as they say. But the football schedule, baseball schedule should be released here. I know they just had baseball media day. Should be coming out. This is one of those points where I'm going to be critical, right? Baseball schedule should have been out last semester. And I'm not going to fault Coach Crenshaw because he's the head coach, right? But you got to put the schedule out, man. Come on, man. You got to be effective when it comes to this stuff, man. And it's that type of stuff right there. I don't know. I'll let it go, though. I don't know. I'll let it go. How about that? I'll let it go, Mike. I'm letting it go. I really don't want to, but I'll let it go. But the baseball schedule should be released here. Softball under 30 days before they get ready to start the season. First pitch going to be against North Dakota. We got somebody on the call line, Mike. Things are starting to heat up. We're in the spring sports, so we're looking for information. Hopefully Southern can go out and get these victories this weekend over Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman. Baseball schedule should be coming out. Softball will get ready to roll. Of course, we're going to have recruiting. The National Signing Day is going to be coming up here soon. So you're going to have that in that big event that normally goes on. You also take a look at naming the Southern University coaching staff, making sure that we get those names of the guys, of the potential guys, and who's going to actually be in a position to lead Southern University in the right direction. Mike, we got somebody on the line, too, as well. Call lines are starting to heat up, so making sure. And if you're calling in, you hold on. Mike's going to get to you. He's handling someone on line one, trying to make sure and talk to them. So let me see. Hold on. We're going to try to get them on. But, it's spring sports. I hope you like it, because that's what I'm be talking about. Everything can't be football 24/7. So what we got, Mike? Tony Brown. All right, let's get Tony. We got somebody on line, too, as well. Good morning, Tony.
Brother White, hey, man, this is Tony Brown. Just want to let you know that we're listening to you live and clear here in Alexandria, Louisiana on 1110 AM KTTP. You're doing a wonderful job. I didn't graduate from an HBCU. I went to the University of Houston back during the Phi Slamma Jamma era. Mm-hmm. But I'm filling in for your normal board operator because I'm a team player. He was out sick today, so they called me up. And as the owner, I came up here to make sure that your show was on the air, the Jaguar Journal, and it's my first time hearing it in its entirety. Love the content, love the engagement, and I just love that it's keeping me on the edge of my seat. I'm learning a lot about not only what's going on with Southern University, but also in the HBCU realm and the HBCU world. So good job, man. Just want to give you your props this morning.
Thank you, Tony. And shout out to people to Alexandria, Tony. Let them know what's going on up there in Alexandria.
Every day, all day.
What's the station, man? You got to say. You got to promote the station.
I'm the owner of 1110 AM KTTP. You can hear the Jaguar Journal live on 1110 AM KTTP and also on FM 107.5 The Vibe.
My man, Tony Brown. Appreciate you, Tony.
All right, brother. Much love.
Yes, sir. Much love. What we got next on there, Mike? CJ. Good morning, CJ.
Hey, Barry. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
All right. Look, I watched the Southern basketball game. Both teams look like they really got some strong potential today for to win this game, and I think they're going to be doing good this season. The basketball girls as well as the men, they might be missing, just one recruit in the backcourt and one forward they need. The guys does, and so do the girls. But look, my thing is, I was calling about the football program. Yeah, the coaching staff haven't been stabilized yet. But on offense, Perry, it's no secret to what we need to get this show on the road. We need some offensive linemen. And then we need to have a system to where no one can think about what's going to take place before we even execute it. That has been a problem for us. Our offense has been so common, everybody can figure it out in the first game. So we need to come up with, we got some backs that can really say they got speed. We need to have a lot of speed to this game. Our offense was in slow motion last year. And for the last 2 or 3 years, it's been in slow motion. That game has changed from that slow motion power play. If you ain't got the horses to run the power play, you better go and find some. But we need to have a system to where everybody don't know what our next play going to be before we even run it. And I just wanted to hear what your thoughts is on that, and I appreciate you because you're doing a great job.
Thank you, CJ. All right, as it pertains to the Southern University football team, and especially the offensive side of the ball, I think you have continuously heard me over and over and over let you know that from last year, it was the inconsistency at the quarterback position. Now, I know Scotty came on. He said, man, Harold Blood is not as bad as people want to make him out to be. And I don't think Harold Blood was as bad as people made him out to be. I just think it was the system and the position that he was put into. For Southern, in this day and age, let's be real. Let's be real. Unless you have a guy that can truly coach up the quarterbacks like we've seen Willie Simmons do at Florida A&M, you're going to need a dual threat guy. You're going to need a guy that can do it with his arm and with his legs. If you're not going to coach him up, if you're not going to develop him, he's going to have to come in and be able to bail you out. Typically in the past, that's what has been the success for Eric Dooley. But what we saw in the year previous to this was Bashawn McCray, right? He could do it with his legs, but he couldn't do it with his arm. We need a balanced dual threat quarterback. We got the running back room. Let me tell you something. For me, I really like Kobe Dillon. And Kobe Dillon is one of those guys, former quarterback, won a state championship at Faraday, comes over, switches to running back. To me, he's one of those utility guys. He's a guy that you can use because he's just a flat-out athlete. I would like to see us use Kobe Dillon in more ways than one. I'm not going to say completely like a Taysom Hill, but like a Taysom Hill. He gives you that ability of what I thought we could have did with Ladarius Skelton when they wanted to move on and use Bubba McDaniel. Ladarius was returning kickoffs. He could have been a receiver. He could have been a running back. He could have been whatever you wanted him to be. Kobe Dillon fits that bill to me. And when you have talent around the program like that, you got to be able to utilize that talent. And I like what Kobe Dillon is. I'm not sure if anybody else. I wanted to see a lot more plays even with him last year using the Wildcat formation. We used it some at Pine Bluff, and then they went away with it. But he was a wild-type quarterback guy because he still gives you the threat with his arm. But he also has the running ability. I would like to see us utilize Kobe Dillon a lot better this year. Also with the thought of Gerard Sims coming back. Southern running back room, come on. Look, that's not the least of the problem. Offensive line play has to get better, though. Let's just be real about it. There's no elephant in the room. Offensive line play has to get better. Especially at Southern, the fact that we have seen continuously year in and year out up into the past couple of years that Southern traditionally has had one of the best, if not the best, O-line every year under Chennis Berry. Now, we can say what we want in terms of the offensive play calling, but we knew one thing for sure. That offensive line was going to be elite when it came to conference play, which is why Southern led the conference pretty much every year. If they weren't number one, they were number two in rushing. Protecting the quarterback, giving him a clean, solid pocket. Quarterback has to do better, especially if you want to protect your quarterback and keep him healthy this year. Getting the depth at the offensive line position as well. Getting the depth at the offensive line position is going to be crucial. Now, who's the quarterback? I don't know. I told you guys last year as the season was going to start, I said when it was all said, yeah, you can call me a prophet because I told you what it was going to be. I said at the end of the season, when it's all said and done and the dust settled, it was going to be Noah Biden. Now, a lot of people wasn't overly impressed with Noah Biden in the Bayou Classic, but come on, man, the guy been sitting on the bench getting in garbage time the entire season. It ain't like he came in and he was horrible, though. But if you work with Noah Biden, I think Noah Biden has the ability. But he has to be developed. The same way you have the kid from Scotlandville. Now, I keep hearing the hype. Everybody know I'm a high school football official. I had a game one time with them. I want to say they played Warren Easton. So I had an opportunity to see it for myself, even from the officiating standpoint, right? But there's one thing to play in high school. There's another thing to transition and play in college with the game speed. We have yet to see him truly get opportunity just to even get his feet wet in the speed of the game on the collegiate level. That's what I would like to see. Just for him to get his feet wet on the collegiate level to understand the game speed and watch him grow, because it's a growth process to a quarterback going from you that dude in high school to being that dude in college. And if he's going to be successful, CJ is going to start with that offensive line like you talked about. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of want to put football to a rest for a while, but you guys would not let me do it. It always double back. But I understand how important it is. I could talk basketball and baseball all day. I have a select handful that would like to hear, but for the vast majority, you want to know what the hell going on with football. and respectfully so. I be wanting to know too. I know people consider me the insider, but hey, I can knock on your door all day. Will you let me in? That's how it is sometimes. Trust me, I'm knocking. It ain't like I'm walking by the door. I'm knocking on the door. I'm even letting you know, hey, Perry out here. It's me. What's going on? Sometimes you talk back through the door. Sometimes the door is open. Sometimes the door does not open at all. So that's how it is for me to explain that to you guys. It ain't like I don't work for Southern. It ain't like I'm in the athletic department building every day. I reach out to coaches. I reach out to administrators and everybody that's around. People ought to be tired of me because, trust me, once I get your number, I ask questions. I have conversations. I throw ideas at you. What I get in return sometimes may not be the same enthusiastic energy that I'm giving them. So, but I do have enthusiastic energy right now because as my man Tony Brown say over in Alexandria, he's running the board. So I'm going to stay on time and do what's right. Mike, let's take a break. When we come back, we're ready to close this thing out. Y'all stay tuned more to Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney, installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them to get the job done.
Reliable Roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in Healing is just a phone call.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody listening over in Alexandria, Louisiana. My man Tony Brown calling in this morning. Thank you for the love and support, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody listening right here in the Baton Rouge, capital city area, and everybody down in New Orleans listening to us, and everybody all around the world, however you're listening to us, whether it's on the app, Talk 107.3 FM, or you're listening to us on YouTube, man. I appreciate the love and support that you guys give. And on Facebook, man, it's always amazing to know that, you know, although we are Southern, people say they support, they love Southern, right? There aren't any other shows dedicated directly to Southern, right? Aside from your coach's show. But you're talking about over the airwaves. The Jaguar Journal has been rolling for 20 plus years. Now, I do know you have people coming from different eras of the Jaguar Journal, different eras from Southern University that like to see things a certain type of way, have it a way, change sometimes can be different for them, you know. But nonetheless, man, I just continue to thank you guys for your support, man. I appreciate you. Who you got on this phone line? All right. Good morning, Chris.
What's going on, Pierre? How you doing this morning?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I was just making an observation, and hopefully everything works the same way. It looks as though we hit a home run with our basketball coach. Long-time assistant, finally getting the opportunity. And I think, 28 years that he's been an assistant or whatever, and then getting that opportunity. So, but Terrence has been an assistant 31 years. So hopefully we'll get the same results, especially the way it's looking right now with our basketball team. Hopefully we can have that same kind of jump start with our football team.
Yeah, I like Coach Johnson, man. I've been talking to him a lot here over the past few weeks, man, and I call him, like I told you. Tell everybody, if I get your number, it's over with. I call, I talk, I pick your brain. And a lot of things I don't share, I just give people on the outside. I just give a cover of what it is, the conversation. But just listening to him, man, and then being able to talk to the players. Every player I have talked to thus far has spoke highly of Coach Johnson, that he cares, that what happens to them matters to him. And, man, you can just tell right now. And then I'm looking at the character of the guys on this team. Every guy that I have had the ability and the opportunity to talk to, great character, man. They coming from all over the place. Australia, Michigan, got a kid right here from Baton Rouge, right there at Scotlandville. You know, just talking to these kids, man, great character. And this is a great group of guys that he has that he's coaching up.
And one of the things we can really look forward to this year is them not fading like our previous coach seemed for whatever reason. They build you up, and you're thinking that we really got a good team heading into the tournament, then seem like at the end of the year the bottom just fall out. Don't know what transpired, but it seemed to have been a pattern. And now what we're looking at is we're looking at a coach that the guys believe in, trust in, say a first-year coach assembling all these new players and everything. And you know there's an adjustment period that has to take place. So I don't even think we've seen their best basketball yet. So we got a lot to look forward to, and I mean, it's really very encouraging.
And I don't want us to be too early, Chris, because last year, look, we started our conference play, man. Look, I was ready to rock and roll. We got it midway. It was after that dunk when we beat Alcorn State at home. Remember that? The guy, he dunked that ball, and then the altercation happened. We weren't the same for the rest of the season after that.
But, you know, that wasn't just last year. That was the pattern that it seemed to be, though, with Coach Woods.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Would run, and then they would just start fading in the end. And so a lot of the things that you're seeing with the football team with Terrence is Terrence understands Southern University. He understands what needs to be done. He's seen it all happen. He's seen us from the highs, and he's seen everything from the lows. And so what I'm just thinking that he's doing is just doing the things that he know based upon his experiences of dealing with everything and with the staff and what have you. I know one of the things is if the board hadn't approved him yet, he probably is trying not to put him out there until that actually takes place. You know, if you watch that board meeting that they had when they confirmed him, that was one of the things that the board saying is not let this information get out before an approval is actually taking place. So I'm like anybody else. I'm curious. I've heard the rumors that Gump might be the offensive coordinator and what have you and everything like that. And so, I know that whole connection and that whole group be getting together. I'm just going to be curious to see how many outsiders he's going to bring in or whatever it's going to be. 1993 and the 90s all over again. I'm really, really curious.
Don't start this, Chris, this morning. Please don't start that 1990 stuff on this. Don't do it.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God!
Saying.
Don't do it. We tried this once already, Chris. Don't keep.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh,
and this is from an insider that was on the inside. One of the things that Tony Clayton brought out is when he was talking about moving in a new direction and everything like that. Now and then, they made a big deal out of Coach Richardson endorsing Eric Dooley, but Coach Richardson didn't give him the endorsement that he gave Terrence. Obviously, there's a closer relationship or what have you and everything like that. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to, Perry, is we just want to win. You got to be able to win. And the late, great Marino Castro said it best, it's tough on the blood. You got to be able to win.
And when you say win, what we talking about? Because we had a winning coach. So
and who?
We had Dawson Odoms. Then we
relate wins according to championships.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Don't say wins. So we got to get championships because the winning to get confused in the process of the championships.
It's not getting confused amongst Southern alumni. It's not. It's not getting confused amongst Jaguar. I can tell you, I can go and get 100 Jaguar fans and say we got to win, and there ain't none of them talking about no winning season. They gonna automatically know what I'm talking about. So that's established. That was one of the things Coach Odoms couldn't understand. We got a good program. We always contend. Why do people not showing up? We want championships, Coach. It's simple as that. When we went on that 24-game SWAC winning streak with Coach Richardson, it spoiled us.
You got to let that go, Chris.
Oh, no, I'm saying no. I'm saying the expectation.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to reminisce about it.
The kids who was born during that time are grown now, Chris. They came to Southern and then graduated.
But here's what I'm saying, Barry. I want that same expectation in 2024. The average Jaguar fan wants that same expectation. You don't want that? You don't want to see us get back to being the dynasty where we go 24-0 in conference play?
I don't want to say go back to. I want to create what we have now, because if I continuously say go back to, it's like Miami fans continuously talking about the U of what the U used to be. And then because you continuously have that expectation, it's hard to move forward in the world that we live in today because that expectation still kind of wants it to be the way that it was then. We want championships. Trust me, no doubt about it.
Right. When I say 24, I'm not talking about going back to the same system. I'm not talking about running the same scheme. Yeah. I'm not talking about none of that. However we get it is what I'm having reference to. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if you run the wishbone. Whatever it takes to get back on that winning streak is what I'm having reference to. But the thing of it is from that standpoint, we have to be able to utilize what it is that we have available to us and make the best out of it. That's my concern. I don't care nothing about trying to relive the olden days or nothing like that, except in winning losses and championships. That's what I'm having reference to.
Well, Chris, man, always, man, it's a beautiful thing when I hear your voice on a Saturday. So appreciate you for calling in, man.
Okay. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode. Mike been giving me that break sign for a long time. Hey, be sure to follow us on our Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel on the Jaguar Journal. Y'all, if you want to keep up with me, you can also find me on YouTube at On the Yard Sports and across all social sites and social networks. So I'm on the Jaguar Journal, On the Yard Sports, and as well as I do a show with Roger Kadar, chopping it up with Coach Roger Kadar. Man, I do too much, actually, probably too much. So shout out to my man Mike over here on the board, ripping and running, getting us together. My man CJ, Chris, Tony calling in, and my man Scotty, a.k.a. Off Script. Man, I appreciate all you guys being a part of today's show. And as always, I see you guys next week at the same time in the same place, because always it's the Jaguar Journal.
Nobody will satisfy your outdoor needs like reliable roofing.
Over the past 15 years, I had 2 roofing systems, including a chimney, installed by Reliable Roofing. I highly recommend them. to get the job done.
Reliable roofing, where no job is too big or small. Just give us a call.
No matter the job, big or small, give us a call.
For over 50 years, Southern University at Shreveport has been preparing students for various careers in the healthcare industry. We want to thank the past graduates, our future graduates, and all healthcare workers for the frontline service, especially in times like these. If you're passionate about helping others and building healthier communities, start your career as a frontline healthcare worker in health sciences. Visit susla.edu.
Depression, anxiety, trauma, nicotine dependence, and more. Many families are struggling with behavioral health issues. Reaching out for professional help is the best thing you can do for you and your family. At Care South, we are committed to helping individuals and families to heal, bounce back, and grow stronger. Our team of professionals are available for telehealth and in-person visits. Call for an appointment today at 225-650-2000. Hope in healing is just a phone call.